Let me just start the report. Okay, so I was saying we want to look at question 10 and question 11, which are on the alpha and beta roots. Okay, so these alpha and beta roots, they have two types of questions. One, there's a question where they give you a quadratic equation, okay, and then they ask you to find the value of two given roots. Okay, for example, here you can see they have given us this equation here, and then they're saying find the value of these two given roots here. Okay, and then there are also, or there is also a question, okay, where you are given an equation, okay, and then you are asked to find a new equation for a specific set of what? Roots. Okay, so those are the two types of questions that we have on the alpha and the beta roots. Okay, so the primary goal that you have to know is the summation of these alpha and beta roots and the multiplication of the alpha and beta roots. So we know that a general quadratic equation is always in this form: a squared plus bx plus c is equals to what? 0. So we know that this is the general form of a quadratic equation. So from this quadratic equation, we can get the value of a, we can get the value of b, and we can get the value of c. Okay, so now when you get the alpha plus the beta, this is the same as minus b over what? A. And then when you multiply the alpha multiplied by the beta, you are going to get c over a. So these two equations that I've written here are the primary equations that you have to know when you're dealing with alpha and beta roots, because everything that we are going to do will be revolving, okay, around these two concepts here. Okay, I think I lost network there. My network is bad today. I hope it won't disturb our class. Yeah, so I was saying these are the primary equations that you have to know. You have to know that the summation of alpha and beta is just minus b over a. And then you have to know that the multiplication of the alpha and the beta is just c over a. Okay, so we'll be using these two to find any question under the what? The alpha and the beta roots. Okay, so let's look at question 1. The first question here, I mean. So they're saying the roots of the quadratic equation 6x squared is equals to 7x plus 3 are alpha and beta. And then they're saying find the value of 2 over alpha plus 2 over beta. And then number 2, they're saying beta over alpha plus alpha over beta. So what are we supposed to do? Okay, so the first thing, we have to find the value of the alpha plus beta. And then the second thing, we have to find the value of the alpha multiplied by beta. And we know that we can get these values from this quadratic equation here. So let's get this quadratic equation and see if we can find the alpha and the beta there. Okay, so we have 6 squared. So we have 6x squared is equals to 7x. Okay, and then what else did we have? We had plus 3. So plus 3. So this is the equation that we have. So we have to take everything to the left-hand side to have the standard quadratic equation. So this will be 6x squared minus 7x minus 3 is equals to what? To 0. Okay, and we see that our a in this case will be 6. Okay, so our a is just the coefficient of x squared, which will be 6. Our b is the coefficient of x, which will be minus 7. And then our c will be the constant that is left there. So this will be minus 3. Okay, so we have our values of a, b, and c. So it means we can find alpha plus beta. Okay, what did we say alpha plus beta is? We said it was minus b over what? A. Okay, so let's replace there. So we have a minus, and then what is our b? Our b is minus 7. So we're going to write minus 7 there, and then divided by, what is our a? Our a is 6. So it means the value of alpha plus beta will just be 7 over what? 6. Okay. And then from here, we can, okay, someone has their mic and mute. Okay, so if you have a question, you can raise your hand or you can unmute yourself and just ask the question, okay? So this is our alpha plus beta, 7 over 6. And then our alpha multiplied by beta will be what? C over A. Okay, so what is our value of C? It is minus 3. So we are going to put minus 3 there, divided by the value of A is 6. Okay, and then we can reduce this. Okay, so 3 into minus 3 to just be minus 1. And then 3 into 6, it will just be 2. Okay, so we have the values of alpha multiplied by beta. And then we also have the values of alpha plus what? Beta. So these are the most important values that you should find. So from there, what are we going to do? We are going to get that set of values that they gave us and then manipulate it in such a way that we have alpha plus beta and alpha times beta somewhere in that given set of roots. So we have this 2 over alpha plus 2 over beta. So let's get it. Okay. So number 1, we have 2 over alpha plus 2 over beta. Okay. So for us to find the value of this guy here, we need to express this guy in terms of 1, the sum, and 2, the product. Okay. So we have to manipulate this guy so that somewhere, somehow, the alpha plus beta and the alpha beta shows up. Okay, someone is writing on the screen. Okay, I don't know who this is anyway. So I'm going to cancel annotations for you guys. Disable annotations for others. Okay, so let's make this guy here to have an alpha plus beta and alpha times beta somewhere. Okay, so what are we going to do? We are going to add these guys. So we are going to say common denominator be alpha multiplied by beta. Okay, and then alpha into alpha plus beta, we get beta. That beta multiplies by 2, we are going to get 2 beta. And then plus beta into alpha plus multiplied by beta, we are going to get alpha. And then that alpha multiplied by 2, we are going to have 2 alpha. Okay, but we see that whatever we have on top here, since this addition is commutative, so it doesn't matter the order in which you add things, you always get the same answer. So we can write this as 2 alpha plus 2 beta. And then down there, we still have the what? The alpha multiplied by beta. Okay, so from here now, we can factorize the 2 on top there. You can factorize the 2 because it is appearing here and there. So what are we going to remain with? We are going to remain with alpha plus what? Beta. And then divide all this by alpha multiplied by what? Beta. So you can see that from this, our expression, we can change this guy into something that has alpha plus beta and alpha multiplied by beta. Okay, so we know the values of alpha plus beta, we know the values of alpha multiplied by beta. So we're just going to substitute. Okay, so we're going to say this 2 over alpha plus 2 over beta is equals to 2 alpha plus beta divided by alpha multiplied by beta. Okay, so now let's substitute. So this will be 2 multiplied by, what is alpha plus beta? So we go back here, we check. Alpha plus beta was 7 over 6. And then alpha multiplied by beta was minus half. Okay, so we are going to get these guys and substitute them here. So we are going to write 7 over 6, and then divided by minus 1 over 2. Okay, I hope you guys are following. If you have any question, please feel free to ask me. Okay, so from here, what do we see? We see that we can multiply these 2 with the 7. We're going to get what? 14 over 6. And then divided by minus 1 over 2. Okay, we can do the simple division here, the grade 2 division. We are just going to say this is multiplied by, and then these guys will exchange. Okay, So now on top we have a -2, and then down we have the what? A 1. Okay, and then from here we can actually multiply, or we can cancel. We see that 2 into 2 goes into their 1, and then 2 into 6 is 3. So we are multiplying this 14 by this -1, so we're going to get -14. And then this 3 multiplied by 1, we are going to get what? 3. So this here is the value of 2 alpha plus 2 beta. Okay? So that's how you find the value there. So any questions there before we move to the next one? Okay, no questions. I'll move to the next one. Okay, so remember that we have the value of alpha plus beta as 7/6. And then the value of alpha multiplied by beta, we have it as -1/2. So now let's get the other roots and see if we can find them. Okay, so here, what do we have? On B there, on number 2, we have beta over alpha plus alpha over beta. Okay, so let's get those and try to express them in terms of alpha plus beta and alpha multiplied by beta. Okay, so I have beta over alpha plus alpha over what? Beta. So this is going to be equals to, the common denominator here will be what? Alpha multiplied by beta. So I'll write alpha multiplied by beta, and then alpha into alpha beta, you get beta. Okay, so beta multiplied by beta, you get beta squared, and then plus beta into alpha beta, you get alpha. Alpha multiplied by alpha, you get what? Alpha squared. Okay, and since addition is commutative, you can write this as alpha squared plus what? Beta squared. And then all this we are dividing by alpha beta. Okay, so what do we see here? Okay, we see on top there we have alpha squared plus beta squared. So alpha squared plus beta squared is not the same as alpha plus beta. So we need to change this alpha squared plus beta squared into alpha beta or alpha multiplied by beta. So how are we going to change that? We use an identity. Okay, we use an identity, which is I think this is the simplest identity under these alpha and beta roots. Okay, so you have to know, I'll show you how to derive it, but you have to know that alpha squared plus beta squared, okay, is the same as alpha plus beta with a squared outside, and then minus 2 alpha beta. Okay, so whatever we have on top here is equivalent to this guy here. Okay, so you master this equation here. Whenever you see alpha squared plus beta squared, just substitute with alpha plus beta squared minus 2 alpha beta. Okay, so now you can see that whatever we have here on top is now expressed in terms of the what? The sum, and in terms of the what? The product. That's what we want. We always want to express whatever we have in terms of the sum and the product. Okay, so now someone may ask, how are we coming up with this? So let me show you how we derive this. So we are going to get this guy. So you're just going to say alpha plus beta squared. We know that this squared actually means alpha plus beta multiplied by what? Alpha plus beta. And then we know how to expand. So alpha multiplied by alpha, you're going to get alpha squared. Alpha multiplied by beta, you're going to get alpha beta. Beta multiplied by alpha, you're going to get alpha beta again. And then beta multiplied by beta, you're going to get what? Beta squared. Okay, and then from here, we see that on the left-hand side, we have alpha plus beta squared, okay? And then here, alpha plus alpha beta is going to give you 2 alpha beta. And then if we move this 2 alpha beta to the left-hand side, what are we going to remain with? Oh, what are we going to have? We're going to have minus 2 alpha beta, which is equals to alpha squared plus what? Beta squared. So this is where the identity comes from, okay? In case you were confused where I got it from, you can derive it like that. Okay, but in a test, in an exam, there's no need to show where it's coming from. Just master that whenever I have alpha plus beta, it's the same as this expression that I wrote on the other side. Okay, so what are we going to do? We are going to replace this guy on top with this, and then down we are going to maintain the alpha beta there. Okay, so on top there, we are going to have what? We're going to have alpha plus beta squared minus 2 alpha beta. And then we are dividing all this. Let me write the division this side, divided by alpha beta. Okay, so this will be equals to, we know the value of alpha plus beta is 7/6. Okay, and then we are squaring this. Then minus 2. What is the value of alpha multiplied by beta? We said it was minus 1/2. Okay, and then we are dividing all this by minus 1/2. Okay, what is left is to simplify, guys. So distribute this square to the 7 and to the what? To the 6. So what is 7 squared? You get 49. What is 6 squared? You get 36. And then minus, okay, 2 multiplied by minus 1. It's going to be minus 2. And then that minus 2 divided by 2 is going to be minus 1. Then that minus 1 multiplied by this minus is just going to be plus 1. And then we are dividing all this by minus 1/2. Okay. Okay, so now let's add these guys here. So we can say this, this one here, okay, that one there, we can express it in terms of 36. We can say that one is the same as 36/36, right? So that one I'm representing is at 36/36, so that I have a common denominator here. Okay, so this is going to be equals to, common denominator here will be 6. Then 36 into 36, 1 multiplied by 49, you get 49. Plus 36 into 36, 1 multiplied by 36, you get 36. And then this is equals, this is being divided by, not this is equals to, this is being divided by, okay, minus 1/2. So just add whatever you have on top there. What is 49 plus 36? Okay, so 49 plus 36 is going to give you 85 divided by 36. And then here, this one changes to multiplication, and then we have minus 2/1. Okay, and then from here, we can do 2 into 2, 1. 2 into 36, we have 18. So we have 85 multiplied by minus 1, which will just be what? It will be minus 85. Then divided by 18 multiplied by 1, which will be what? 18. So this here is the value of beta over alpha plus alpha over what? Beta. So that's how we find the answer there, guys. Any questions there? Okay, silence means there is no question. Okay, so that's the first part of the alpha and beta. They will give you certain roots, and then you have to find the value of those roots using the quadratic equation that you've been given. Okay, so the concept that we applied here on A, what we are from doing, is the same concept that you apply even here on B, okay, even here on what? On C. Okay, so I won't solve these ones because they are the same concept. I've shown you the basics. Okay, so I'll go to the next concept, which is on finding the new equation when you are given certain types of roots. Okay, so let's look at question 11. Okay, again, even here we're just going to do A here. Okay, so here we have been given that the equation x squared is equals to 5x plus 6 has roots alpha and beta. Find the new equation which has these roots or those roots. Okay, so what are we going to do? The first thing, guys, is always to find the value of alpha plus beta and alpha multiplied by what? Beta. So let's get this equation here. Okay, so we are going to say x squared is equals to 5x, was it plus or minus 6? Plus 6, okay, plus 6. So let's take everything to the same side. This will be minus 5x minus 6 is equals to what? 0. Okay, and then we know that from this quadratic equation, we can get our a, which is 1. We can get our b, which is minus 5. And we can get our c, which is what? Minus 6. Okay, so what are we going to do with this? We're going to find the value of alpha plus beta, which will be equals to minus b over what? A. So this will be equals to minus, where there's b, we put minus 5 divided by a, which is 1. So this will just be 5. Okay, so this is the sum. And then the product will be alpha multiplied by beta, which is given by what? C over A. And this is just going to be equals to what? C, which is minus 6, divided by 1, which is A. And this is going to give us a minus 6. Okay, so from this now, the alpha and the beta, okay? Okay, so from the alpha, from the sum of these roots and the product of these roots, we can come up with the new roots, okay? And then from those new roots, we can come up with the what? The new equation that they want us to find. Okay, so now let's look at the roots that we've been given here. We've been given 3 over alpha, comma, 3 over beta. Okay, so let's get those two roots. So we've been given 3 over alpha and 3 over what? Beta. So these are the new roots, right? Okay, so what are we going to do with them? We are going to use them to find the sum, and we are also going to use them to find the what? The product. Okay, and then wherever there's alpha plus beta, we're going to replace with 5. Wherever there's alpha multiplied by beta, we're going to replace with minus 6. Okay, so what am I saying? We are going to find the sum of these roots. So sum will be equals to this root plus this root. So we are going to say 3 over alpha beta plus 3 over beta. So from here, we see that the common denominator will just be alpha multiplied by beta. So alpha into alpha beta, it will be beta. Beta multiplied by 3, it will be 3 beta. Plus beta into alpha beta, it will be alpha. Alpha multiplied by 3, we're going to get 3 alpha. Okay, and we know that addition is commutative, so we can factorize. Okay, we can factorize the 3. So we have 3, and then in the brackets we have alpha plus beta divided by what? Alpha multiplied by what? Beta. Okay, so this is what we have. So you can see that from the sum, we can come up with the expression for alpha plus beta and alpha multiplied by what? Beta. And we know the values of alpha plus beta and alpha multiplied by beta. Okay, so you can see that the sum here will just be what? What is alpha plus beta? 5. And then what is alpha multiplied by beta? Minus 6. So let's put there. So it will be 5 here, and then divided by what? Minus 6. So what do you think we are going to get here? We're going to get 15 over what? Minus 6. So this here is the sum of the roots. Okay? And then what about the product? So we're going to say product is equals to 3 over alpha multiplied by 3 over what? Beta. So this is going to give you what, guys? It's going to give you 9 over alpha beta. And we know the value of alpha beta. So this will just be 9 divided by what? Minus 6. Okay, so you can write this as minus 15 over 6. And you can also write this as minus 9 over 6. So this is what we have here. Okay, so we have the sum and we have the product. So immediately we have the sum and the product. It means we can come up with a new equation. It's as simple as that. So the new equation is always in this format: x squared, okay, minus the sum x, and then plus the product, okay, is equals to 0. This is the general form of the new equation. So what are we going to do with this information? We're just going to replace wherever there's the sum, we're going to put the value of the sum. Wherever there's the product, we're going to put the value of the what? The product. Simple as that. So we are going to say our new equation will just be x squared minus, what was the sum of the roots? The sum was minus 15 over 6. So I'll put the minus 15 over 6 here, right? And then x, okay, and then plus, what was the product? The product was minus 9 over 6. So we can put minus 9 over 6 here. And then this is equals to 0, okay? And then we see that we can multiply throughout by 6 to eliminate the fractions. So we can say we multiply throughout by 6 to eliminate any fraction. So 6 multiplied by this, we're going to get 6x squared, okay? This negative and this negative will form a positive, and then 6 multiplied by 15 over 6, you just cancel out the 6 that is in the denominator, so we have plus 15x, okay? And then 6 multiplied by minus 9 over 6, it will cancel out the 6 in the denominator, we're going to remain with minus 9 is equals to what? 0. So this equation here is our new what? Equation. Okay, so any question on how we found the new equation there? Okay, no questions? Okay, let's do the last one. This class is very short. Okay, I know it's weekend. You guys need to rest. Okay, let's look at the other sets of roots. So we have alpha over beta, and beta over alpha. Okay, so alpha over beta, and then we have beta over what? Alpha. So we know that the alpha plus beta is just what? Minus 15 over 6. And then beta, alpha multiplied by beta, we know it's minus 9 over 6. So let's find now the new sum and the new product from this. So we are going to say sum is going to be equals to, okay, alpha over beta plus beta over alpha. This will be equals to, common denominator will be alpha beta. And then on top here, beta into this, it will be what? Beta into this to be alpha. Alpha multiplied by alpha to be alpha squared. And then on the other side, you have beta squared. Okay? So we know the identity of alpha squared plus beta squared will just be alpha plus beta squared minus 2a, or minus 2 alpha beta. I showed you how to derive this, and then we're dividing by alpha beta. Okay, so from this now we can come up with the values of okay, what did I do here? Okay, alpha beta is 5, alpha multiplied by beta is 6. I got the wrong roots here. Okay, this was when we found the new alpha plus the new sum and the new product. So this one here is 5, and then this one is 6. This is correct now. I got it mixed up. Okay, so let's substitute. So to find the sum, alpha plus beta is 5. So 5 squared minus 2 minus 6, and then divided by what? A minus 6. So this will be 25, okay, plus 12 divided by minus 6. So what is 25 plus 12? Is 37. And then divided by what? Minus 6. So you have a minus 35 over 6 as your sum, okay? And then what about the product? So the product, we are going to say it's alpha over beta, multiplied by beta over alpha. So we know that this one is going to give us 1, right? Because on top, we are going to have alpha, beta. Down, we are going to have alpha, beta. And we know that alpha plus beta, alpha multiplied by beta. Alpha multiplied by beta is -6, okay? And alpha multiplied by beta is -6. Okay, so these two roots, when we find their product, it's just 1. Okay, this will be 1, because -6 over -6 is 1. So we have the two things that we need in order to find the new equation. So we have the sum, which is -37 over 6, and then we have the product, okay, which is 1. So the new equation is always in the form x squared minus the sum of the roots, x plus the product. And this should be equals to 0. So let us replace. So it will be x squared minus -37 over 6, x, and then plus 1 is equals to what? 0. So you always want to eliminate this x. So this fraction, I mean. So we are going to multiply throughout by 6. So our new equation will be 6x squared. Okay, this negative and this negative becomes a positive 37. And then we are multiplying by 6. So the 6 cancels, we are going to have plus 37x. Then plus, what is 6 multiplied by 1? We have 6 is equals to 0. So this here is our what? Our new equation. Okay, so any questions there, guys? Any questions there? Okay, so if there are no questions, I'll end here. I don't want to take long today. Okay, the class was just for 30 minutes. I've taught you the two basic things that you need to know about alpha and beta roots. Okay, you can find the value of certain roots that are given, or you can find the new equation. Okay, so the most important equations to know are alpha plus beta is just equals to -b over a. Okay, and alpha multiplied by beta is equals to what? C over a. And then for the new equation, we said it's always in this form, x squared minus the sum of the roots, x, plus the product is equals to 0. Okay, so you always have to use these two concepts when you are faced with questions on alpha and beta roots. Okay, so it's been Tutor Poul from IQ Academy. Thank you very much for attending. We'll continue the classes on Monday. Okay, continue the classes on Monday. We've done a full week of free classes this week. Okay, but come next week, okay, we shall start the paid up classes. Okay, you'll be required to subscribe with our team for you to access our drive and all these live classes. Okay, so as you go for your holidays, I know you are going for a break. Make sure you utilize our services because they are online and you can access them anywhere. It will be easier for you to catch up and even